What's up guys, ChaoticMeatball here and welcome back to another FireRed LeafGreen 386 challenge video. Today we're going to be taking a look at possibly the most difficult Pokemon by far, Ledyba. I mean, just look at this level up moveset. We only have Tackle and Comet Punch until we get Swift at level 36, so chances are we'll be relying on TMs. Which luckily, Ledyba does get some great TMs like Hidden Power, Giga Drain, Dig, and Aerial Ace, but also has some terrible attacking stats. The only stat that it really has is special defense and speed, which will at least come in handy when it comes to fire types attempting to take me down. We don't even have any stab moves aside from the TM for Aerial Ace, so no bug type moves whatsoever, so we'll have to make do with what we've got. If you need a refresher on the rules, make sure to check out the first video in this series on Chikorita. And did you know that only 1 out of 4 people that watch this channel are subscribed? Be sure to hit that big red button down below and ring the bell for notifications when my videos come out. So, first things first, I choose Ledyba as my starter after using the Universal Pokemon Randomizer, and we already have our first problem. Ledyba has a base 20 attack and a base 30 defense. And along with a critical from my rival's Charmander, it goes down in 3 hits. Yeah, we lost the first rival battle, so I go out to do some grinding and wow, I guess a Pidgey's too strong for me to take down too. So in case you haven't noticed, Ledyba absolutely sucks. So I got up to Viridian City and bought as many potions as possible since I'm going to need them to make grinding sensible and not utterly terrible. And I did the good old grinding on Mankey to increase that physical attack stat since I may as well. There's no reason not to increase it since we'll need it for some attacks later in the game. I also included Rattata into it since I figured I'd want to outspeed everything, and I wanted a little bit of investment in it. Since if I don't outspeed, chances are I'm going to be going down in a hit or two anyway, so it doesn't make sense not to have speed EVs. So I grind all the way up to level 16, taking about an hour and 15 minutes before going into the Viridian Forest and taking out all the trainers. I got out, healed, and went straight for the gym trainer to give myself a benchmark on whether or not I can take down Brock. Matching Supersonic and Comet Punch wasn't too bad actually, but I am not doing more than 1 damage per hit, especially once he starts using Defense Curl. I'm lower than half HP before Sandshrew came out, using Sand Attack and basically making it impossible for me to win, since I can't deal damage, both because of Sand Attack and because of Defense Curl. So I reset, go all the way back to Route 22 for Mankeys, and grind up to level 20. This took about 40 more minutes before I took out the Light Years trainer and tried to fight Brock. With Supersonic and Comet Punch I can consistently get past Geodude without too many problems, but Onix is a big ol' pain in the neck. Rock Tomb literally outright kills Ledyba because of the quad weakness it has thanks to the bug flying types, basically making it impossible for me to progress. Luckily, I get Reflect at level 22, so I just went ahead and grinded up to level 25 after about 15 attempts at Brock at level 20. I may as well, since I'm sure I can't even one-shot the stuff on Route 3 at this level anyway. Fortunately, a few attempts in at level 25, it works out. I take down Brock after a gruelingly long battle, running out of Comet Punches, and getting the Boulder Badge. God, that was terrible, and at least the rest of the game, aside from a few other battles, will at least be bearable. I'm just going to describe the main battles in this run, since if I don't, this video is going to go over 30 minutes, and I'm not entirely keen on that happening. Either way, I made sure to avoid every trainer with a Rock type and Mount Moon before emerging on Route 4, where I made sure to grab Mega Punch from the tutor here. I replaced Tackle, and now I at least have a more competent attacking move. In fact, it was competent enough to allow me to fight Misty and win on my first attempt. Staryu was a one-shot with Mega Punch before she used Harden and healed, so I finished it with Comet Punch and Mega Punch, taking it down even with the increased defense. Next up is Starmie, and it is a bit of a pain with Water Pulse and Recover since I can't really hit that hard, but I managed to make it through after a few Mega Punches and Comet Punches, even through Confusion with Water Pulse, surviving at 1 HP. God, I hate when that happens. I always feel like I'm having a mini heart attack when I'm playing since I don't want to have to do the battle again, so it's always a massive relief when I actually win. After that, I healed and it's time for Rival 2. He's at least beatable this time, but my first attempt basically got screwed over by Pidgeotto thanks to a single Sand Attack. God, I miss Hoot Hoot's keen eye. The second attempt went well though since I landed through Sand Attack, leaving Charmander. He landed 2 Embers before I took him out with a Mega Punch and Comet Punch, and leaving the rest of the team, so they're free basically, since Abra's out next, which is down by a 3-hit Comet Punch, and Raditz is a one-shot with Mega Punch. I don't recall the last time he actually used his stab move on his starter in a fight, so that was kinda somewhat interesting. After grabbing the SS ticket and avoiding literally every rock-type trainer I could on routes 24 and 25, I went straight for routes 6 and 11 since I am in dire need of EXP for the time being. Literally every trainer is precious, since there's so little I can really do at this point in time, so I need to stockpile EXP or else I'm gonna literally fall way behind too quickly, especially with the likes of Lieutenant Surge coming up. Anyway, I finished up the SS Sand trainers and items, leading to Rival 3. He's not too different from Rival 2, since he didn't land any sand attacks on Pidgeotto, even though I missed with a Mega Punch at first. His Charmander evolved, but now I have Dig, and it's almost a one-shot, going down after Swift. Raticate's a simple Mega Punch, and Kadabra's a one-shot with Swift. Great! I love whenever I have an easy fight like that, because it's not too often that Ledyba can just win without much forethought. And with that, it's time for Surge. And he's not actually that big of a threat thanks to Dig, though I did try to take his Voltorb down with Mega Punch and Swift, which was a mistake. So I rectified that with a one-shot on Pikachu, and barely not on Raichu, so I finished it with Swift. I feel like they give you that TM just in case you chose Squirtle or have been soloing with Charmander and it's already a Charizard by that time, but who knows. It's probably a minor plot detail for Team Rocket that I'm digging into too much. Routes 9, 10, Rock Tunnel, 12, and 8 were all an endurance round essentially, getting me the plenty of levels before I arrived in Celadon City. By this point though, I had the TM for Aerial Ace, so I may as well take out Erica's gym before taking out the Rocket Hideout. So, yippee! Rip and tear it until it is done, Ledyba. I've been playing too much Doom Eternal. I'm not really a big fan of first-person shooters, but man, that one drew me in somehow, making me glad I actually made the plunge, especially for the music of that series, oh boy. Anyway, details aside, time for Erica. She leads with Victory Bell, who's a one-shot with Aerial Ace, Tangle is also a one-shot, and Vileplume is almost a one-shot, missing with Stun Spore before I took it out with 2 returns, winning me the Rainbow Badge and the TM for Giga Drain. That will definitely be useful in the future. One Team Rocket thrashing later, and it's time for our first Giovanni fight. This time though, he doesn't owe me money, he owes me time so that I could at least finish this run in an appropriate amount of time and it not take forever. He led with Onix, which luckily was easy to take down with 2 digs. I wish I had that for Brock, but okay. Out next is Rhyhorn, and Dig is my best friend, so I used that and Aerial Ace to finish it off. Last out is Kangaskhan, and he gets a Fake Out off before I used Return. And I figured since now that I have Double Edge that he would just have enough power to KO from it just being over half. But it survived literally on 1 HP, with me at 15 and he used Bite, doing a total of 6 damage. Thank God for special defense. I used Aerial Ace to win the fight, dumbfounded at how he couldn't even manage to take down a Ledyba correctly. I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed. And sometimes, that's much worse than being angry. Goodbye, Giovanni. I'll be back for when you're actually a functional trainer. Back to Lavender Town, and it's time for Rival 4. He's leveled up a bit, but I'm literally double his level, so I one-shot his Pidgeotto with Return, his Charmeleon with Dig, his Execute with Aerial Ace, his Kadabra with Return, and Gyarados is the only one to survive, so I used 2 returns to take it down. I think I'm finally over-leveled, but they're only going to get higher, so why not? After obtaining the Pokeflute, I figured it's a good idea to take out the routes between Lavender and Fuchsia, as well as the cycling road for that precious experience, landing me in Koga's gym. After taking down his trainers, I took him out as well pretty easily. Coughing's a 2-shot with Return, Muck's out next, and I contemplate using Return for a little less than half. Double Edge finishes it, and out comes his next Coughing, which is another 2 returns to take it down. Weezing's out next, and I'm barely unable to survive his Sludges, so I lost on the final attack. I'll probably need another few levels before I can beat him. So I took out the 2 swimmer trainers on land south of the city, as well as the Fighting Dojo and Sylph Company, leading to Rival 5. He leads with Pidgeot, which is a 2-shot with Return. Well, would be if he didn't use Feather Dance, making Double Edge not even enough to take him out. I may need something better, since Charizard just obliterated me. So, I remembered why I reset a few times at the beginning of this game, since I wanted a certain hidden power typing, the Rock type. So I went ahead and grabbed a full party of Pickup Meowth and started going around the region and fighting different trainers so that I could pick it up. I finally landed back at Koga's gym and it went well, though I almost went down to being poisoned and having only 5 HP before finishing off his Weezing with Return. so I guess that really didn't go well. It went by the skin of my teeth, but winning is still well to me. I also left some trainers on routes 15 and 14 since I couldn't get through all of them earlier, so I fought the rest of them, which still didn't yield me a TM for Hidden Power. I should have thought of this earlier. Oh well. I went back to Rival 5 and tried again, this time being able to take down Pidgeot in 2 returns since he used Wing Attack rather than Feather Dance, therefore making Charizard a 2-shot even after Scary Face. I guess the speed EVs paid off for sure. Execute is a 1-shot with Aerial Ace, Alakazam is a 1-shot with Return, and Gyarados is a 2-shot with Return. Not a bad fight whatsoever. I probably could have reset for a fight where I didn't get any Feather Dance earlier, but it's not that big of a deal. Next up is Giovanni, and his Nidorino is easy since it goes down to a single dig. Rhyhorn is a 2-shot with Dig, Kangaskhan is a 2-shot with Return, and Nidoqueen is probably the only threat on his team since it has Poison Point, but I managed to take it down in 2 digs, winning me the fight. That was not bad, so I just escape roped out and I took out the water route to the right of Seafoam Islands for the EXP before going forward. Since I'm inching closer to the max level, I may as well just keep fighting stuff that's available. I taught Surf and Strength to Lapras, fought said trainers on both sides, and arrived in Cinnabar, did the usual over in Pokemon Mansion, fought Blaine's trainers, and now for the Burning Bald Man himself. He leads with Growlithe, which goes down to a Hidden Power, which I finally picked up during the... See, I'm just gonna let you guys know right now, this is me during every minute of voiceover. It ends up being me not being able to articulate myself, and then me just railing into the microphone and being like, why can't I speak even though these words are on a piece of paper that are in front of me? Well, admittedly, they're on a piece of digital paper, but who cares? They are right here. Let's try this again. He leads with Growlithe, which goes down to a Hidden Power, which I finally picked up during the in-between. Ponyta's a 1-shot with it as well, and Rapidash is barely not, allowing it to get off Fire Blast for admittedly low damage. Ledyba's special defense is actually pretty good, so I'm able to tank fire hits relatively well. I take it out after he heals, and Arcanine's out next. I hit him with a Hidden Power as he nails me with a massive Fire Blast, but I got a lucky crit after that, finishing the fight without having to retry. Again, mini heart attack, though he did have the chance to miss, so that might have happened as well. Either way, I won, I don't care. One Sevi Islands trip later, and it's time for the final Giovanni fight. He leads with Rhyhorn, whom I wish I still had Dig for. I should have replaced Double Edge, but alas. I finished it off with 2 returns, a Hidden Power, and a Double Edge. Next up is... another Rhyhorn. I did the same thing, though instead it was 3 returns and a Double Edge, and of course it was a useless crit to boot. Third out is Dugtrio, which is a 1-shot with Return. Nidoqueen's a 2-shot with Return, and luckily I didn't get hit with Poison Point, so I'm happy. And last up is Nidoking, who's a 2-shot, and of course, he jinxed me. He gets the Poison Point as he goes down. Alright, attempt to rub some salt into a non-existent wound, why don't you? What a terrible trainer. Go home and be a family man. And if you don't get that joke, go to Google and become enlightened. One Victory Road trek later, and now we've got some Elite Four fights. And you know what? They're hard as balls. I lost repeatedly at level 90. I tried again at level 95. And I lost repeatedly at level 95. I tried again at level 97. And finally, I did manage to take the W from Lorelei. She leads with Dugong, which goes down to 2 Hidden Powers after setting up Safeguard. Slowbro's out next and attempts Yawn to put me to sleep, so I made sure I had a Chesto Berry to fix that, taking it down in 2 Aerial Aces and a Double Edge. Jinx is out next, and it's a 1-shot with Hidden Power, with Lapras out next. It's a 2-shot with Hidden Power and critical Aerial Ace, leaving just Cloyster. It's really defensive, so I can't really take it out that quickly, so she kept healing as I kept getting damaged by Hail. So I finished it with 2 Aerial Aces and a Hidden Power after a bunch of Protect spam. At least it isn't as nuts as Blastoise is from Rival 5, since he's just Protect happy altogether. Next up is Bruna, and I realized, oh boy, time for some rock types that are going to be absolutely impossible to beat. So I tried over and over and over again and failed, and then I realized, hey, I have Giga Drain, why didn't I put this on my Ledyba earlier? So I decided to be smart, and I used it on the first Onix, and it was a one-shot. Whoops. Hitmonchan is a one-shot. Machamp is a noob since he just used a bulk up, and still was a two-shot after that in a Citrus Berry. Next up is Hitmonlee, and it's a one-shot with Aerial Ace, and the last Onix is a one-shot with Giga Drain. I really wish I thought of that earlier. It would have made it a lot easier to take out Lorelei, and Giovanni, and basically any Rock-type trainer after Erica. Next up is Agatha, and she's relatively easy as well. She leads with Gengar, and it's a two-shot with Aerial Ace after she wastes her time with Double Team. Golbat's out next, and it's a one-shot with a crit return, and out comes Arbok. It's actually pretty strong and manages to do over half with Sludge Bomb before I took it out with 3 returns. Last up is her second Gengar, and it's a two-shot with Hidden Power, which probably mattered since that Gengar couldn't have taken me out if it wasn't for the second one being a crit. And last up is Haunter, and it for sure could have taken me out since I couldn't one-shot it, but it's dumb and used Mean Look, so it allowed me to two-shot it with Aerial Ace, allowing me to KO for the win. Not bad. I can only hope that Lance is easy enough. Gyarados is barely not a two-shot because of Intimidate, so I just kept wailing on it until he decided to switch it out for Dragonite. I guess the AI can attempt to predict me using Giga Drain again and registers Dragonite as quad resistant. Luckily, I know better, it went for Aerial Ace, doing minimal damage, leaving him wide open to Hidden Power, knocking his Citrus Berry out of commission as he uses Safeguard. I managed to get a critical on the next attack, KOing and making him send out Aerodactyl. I went for Giga Drain since it was the most effective move I had, but Hidden Power with yet another critical did the job. Next out is Dragonair, and Return does barely under half as he paralyzes me, but I managed to finish it after he lands a Hyper Beam. Last out is Gyarados, and I used my last Giga Drain PP so that I can survive, KOing him with 2 returns after he uses Hyper Beam. Somehow, someway, his last Dragonair missed 4 Hyper Beams, and I didn't even have Double Team on my Ledyba yet. I need to know the chances of that, since that's absolutely ridiculous. Leave a comment if you found out the chances of that, because, oh my god. Either way, a win is a win, so it's time for Champy Boy to hand over his throne once again, but oh my lord. The rival starts off with Pidgeot, which is a two-shot with Hidden Power, since he didn't even bother with Feather Dance, which was quite nice. Aerial Ace did a bit of damage, but not enough to make me worry. Out next is Rhydon, and it's a one-shot with Giga Drain, allowing me to restore all of my HP in time for Charizard, which is a one-shot with Hidden Power. Thank goodness for 4 times weakness. Alakazam's actually strong enough to survive a return thanks to Ladyba's pitiful attack, and then proceeds to start Reflect and Recover stalling me. It actually went on for a decent length of time, but I finally got a crit to break through, leading to Executor. It's not a one-shot with Aerial Ace, but it did miss Sleep Powder, so the healing that he didn't matter since I just finished it in 2 more. Last up is Gyarados, and it's doing massive damage, but luckily I barely didn't knock him into full restore territory, so I managed to finish him off after recovering some from Giga Drain and nailing a Hidden Power. Not gonna lie, I expected to be at the max level for this, but I did the first round just shy of it, so I'm pleased. Now to see if I can even get past any of the round 2 without the need of Double Team. However, we've got 2 admins to talk about. Of course, these guys are usually jokes with any other Pokemon, but with Ledyba, it was actually a bit of an irritation to get past them with. The first one leads with a Muck, which is a 2-shot with Return. Arbok's out next, and it also is a 2-shot, but it manages to do a lot of damage with Sludge Bomb, leaving just Vileplume. It's at least weak to Aerial Ace, so I took it out in 2 Aerial Aces, though it did almost take me out itself. I healed, and the second one is not too bad though, as Golbat almost goes down to a single Hidden Power, but the second one was a higher roll after healing, so it was an easy KO. Next up is Houndoom, which I thought was going to be the most threatening Pokemon here, but I managed to take it out in 1 Hidden Power, leading me to KO his Weezing in 3 attacks as he just wailed on me, but not enough to take me out. And with that, back to the league. Let's see how we do, I guess, since we can't really do anything else. Lorelei isn't too bad, as Dugong is a crit one-shot and Jinx is a one-shot without touching me, leading to Cloyster. It's a 2-shot after Hidden Power and Giga Drain, leading to Piloswine. And here's the kicker. I hit it with Giga Drain, and it did absolutely massive damage with Rock Slide, but I managed to survive and KO with another one. Still, that was insane. That was way too much damage. Next up is Lapras, and it's a 3-shot with Giga Drain, barely not KOing me with Thunder. I'm glad I kept the Cherry Berry on this thing, or else I would have gotten paralyzed and likely KO'd. I did finish it with Giga Drain though, beating Lorelei round 2 without Double Team. Now to see if I can pull it off with Bruna. In short, no, I can't. I tried about 20 times against this Steelix, and I just couldn't do enough damage against it with Giga Drain before he just destroyed me with Rock Tomb, since it's a 2-shot. I've already used all of my dodging luck with 4 Hyper Beam misses earlier. I replaced Hidden Power since I still have a TM for it, so it's best if I assess what I need to get rid of later, and keep Double Team for the time being. So, first try with Double Team, I managed to max it out and just destroyed his team. Though Hitmonchan almost one-shotted me thanks to a lucky hit through my Double Teams. That actually almost made me lose my mind, since I was really wanting that first try victory with them. Next up is Agatha, and she actually took me out of my first attempt, since Misdreavus just kept nailing hits through Double Team, confusing the heck out of me, and making me think it had some ability that it nullified or ignored accuracy and evasion. Turns out I was just really running out of lucky points and needed to try again. 2 tries later, and I finally got a max out on evasion thanks to a Chesto Berry, making it so that even if her Gengar hit an Hypnosis, it wouldn't matter since I'd immediately wake up. From there, I just went for an Aerial Ace, Giga Drain, and another Aerial Ace, though I got a low roll and it wasn't enough to take it down. Unfortunately, after healing, she put me to sleep before I could nail the last Aerial Ace, but I managed to take it out without her scuffing me up too badly. Misdreavus was easy enough thanks to Aerial Ace, Giga Drain, and another Aerial Ace, but I'm out of Giga Drains going into Crobat. Luckily, it doesn't matter since I could take it out in 3 returns, leaving her second Gengar. 3 Aerial Aces was enough to KO it, leaving just Arbok. Even though I got hit with Intimidate, Return was still enough to get it in healing range after 3 of them, so I moved over to Aerial Ace, taking it down in 4 more shots, winning the match. God, even with Stab, Ledyba's just not good. Hopefully I can get through the last 2 fights without it being so much of a pain, even with Double Team. Lance starts off with Gyarados, and with some forethought, I made sure to max out my Double Teams and hit Return a few times before moving over to Aerial Ace. He heals, and I'm back to using Return, though it doesn't do as much as I'd like, allowing him to hit me with a Thunder Wave before going right down. But my Cherry Berry heals it, allowing for Kingdra to come out. It immediately starts using Dragon Dance, which can be threatening if it actually lands at a single move, but I ended up taking it down with a mix of Return and Giga Drain. Out next is his level 66 Dragonite, so I just wailed on it with Return, hitting it 5 times before it went down. Second to last is his level 72 Dragonite, which isn't even a 6-shot with Return. That is how bad my physical attack stat is. It became even worse when he healed, since I had to move over to using Aerial Ace, since Giga Drain wasn't going to do a thing to it. Luckily, I managed to whittle it down and nailed a lucky crit as the final blow, leading to Aerodactyl. I don't have Hidden Power for this fight, so Giga Drain's my best friend, leading me to taking it down with 2 Giga Drains, 2 Returns, and another Giga Drain. Not bad. I'm surprised I had such a good fight for Lance. I expected that one to take a bit of time, especially since Aerodactyl actually has Aerial Ace, but it didn't even choose to use it. Oh well, sucks for him. Before the champ, I made sure to replace Return with Hidden Power, since that is going to help me with the likes of Charizard. Let's do this. So I managed to make this happen within 10 attempts somehow, since there's an important critical we need to do, or else we cannot win the fight. The champ starts off with Heracross, which is a one-shot with Aerial Ace due to being quad weak to flying types, and not having any defense really. Tyranitar is out next, and here's where Giga Drain comes in super handy. Tyranitar has Aerial Ace, which can nearly one-shot, but Giga Drain is a 3-shot if we don't crit. I needed either one of them to crit, preferably the second one, so that I could get as much health back. And on the 9th attempt, it happens and I take it down. Next up is Charizard, and somehow, someway, it's almost a one-shot with Hidden Power. I really thought it was going to have more bulk against my Ladybug, but it sure really didn't. He relied on healing items to attempt to let me get damage from Sandstorm, but I took it out, leading to Alakazam. I debated, but went for Double Team, and he started missing immediately, thank God. I got 2 of them up before using 2 Giga Drains, knocking him into red HP and getting him to heal. Perfect! Now I can use a few more Giga Drains and get a bit more HP back before Executor. Admittedly, I probably could have had Ledyba hold a Lepa Berry so that I could restore my Giga Drains and get more HP back, but hindsight's 20/20. Anyway, Executor comes out next, and 2 Aerial Aces is enough to take it out, missing a Psychic. Double Team is paying off, really, even without it being maxed out, and I'm quite happy with this result. Last out is Gyarados, and I used Giga Drain as my last power point before using Hidden Power, getting a critical and finishing the fight. Oh, God, that run sucked. Ledyba is trash, and no wonder people have only tried Gen 2 with it here on YouTube. I admit, I tried my best not to use cheese strats as much as humanly possible, and I'm actually pleased by how much Ledyba could do strategically without having to resort to using a ton of double teams all the time. I don't think I could have done this without resetting for a Rock-type hidden power either. Anyway, let's look at that good old chart. And Ledyba is somehow better than Chikorita. Probably because of the fact that Chikorita was the first run, and I didn't know what the hell I was doing. So I'll probably be reassessing that at the end of the series. But F rank is definitely where Ledyba should reside. It's quite a terrible Pokemon, but even if it's doable for this challenge like this, basically anything with attacking moves is doable. However, we'll have to contend with another first form bug next time when we challenge again with Spinarak. Thanks for watching. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed this, make sure to click on the other videos on screen, you'll probably enjoy them too. And if you really enjoyed this video and want to help support me making more content like this, be sure to join my channel as a member to get access to videos 24 hours early, as well as to my Patreon, where you can get access to the same 24-hour early privilege, along with many other cool perks such as tabs for my covers and medleys, challenge requests, private chats, and other cool stuff. Stay safe, stay healthy, I'll see you next time.